Hey guys, this is Rick, the middle class millennial here. I decided to save some energy this winter time by sealing off drops around the outlets in my house, especially if you don't have wall insulation. So you can go to Home Depot, pick this dual purpose outlet sealer for a few bucks. I'll show you guys how to set that up. So first up, unless I want to get hurt or break my laptop up there, I might want to get all this stuff cleared out of the way first. And obviously the first thing you're going to do is take your cover plate off. Like so. And the first thing you're going to want to do is caulk up around the edges of the box. This is a new work box, so I recently put this outlet in. If it's an older work box, like it was already put in before the plaster drywall was put in, you may not have any gaps around here, so you may not need to caulk. So we'll want to go ahead and caulk that now. All right, well that's dry. I'm gonna go ahead and do this outlet and this Ethernet jack real quick. Now, as you can see, I've already got this one sealed up here. This one, now this was something I added in years before I did the electrical, but you can see this insulation's compromised back here. I won't need to caulk around here, but I am definitely gonna fill in this cavity because this exterior wall, these are 2x4 walls on the outside of the house. I need to get that filled in. Let me show you guys that in a sec. All right, to insulate your outlets or any opening cavities when you're doing new work, whatever, you can go get yourself a bag of blown-in cellulose or whatever your insulation is. If you have any excess, just throw it up in your attic. I've already used half the bag, but any excess I have, I can always blow it up in the attic. Or any of this stuff is really dusty, you probably should be wearing a mask. You will need to vacuum afterwards, but let's go ahead and stuff this hole up. Get it nice and good in there, not too compacted, but enough that we're gonna fill in that hole a ways. Keep that insulation. Yeah, don't blow on it, you'll get shit in your eye. But I need to keep the Ethernet jack clean. Anyway, there we go. Don't blow on it. Yeah, it was not pleasant in my eyeball. Now for the outlets, it's pretty simple. They got little cutouts in here, so you just pop them out. As so, they got these little pre-cut cutouts in the outlet. Whoops, don't get the corners out with them. And you just pop these babies out. However, it's only for the outlet and the square cutouts for the switches and stuff. We're gonna have to do some modifications and I'll show you how to make that pretty easy. You just slap it right on there and put your wall plate. It's got a little punch hole. It should punch right through it. You can get it started by just taking this off and forcing the screw through as such. There we go. Beautiful. So we're gonna go ahead and stick that back on there. Get this plate back on. Now for this one, I normally would just cut out a hole in the center here, but since I don't have an area for the utility knife, I decided I'm just gonna knock this out because it's actually pretty good draft sealed around here already. So I won't really need to do that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on like this and into the cover hole here. It looks like I might be able to have to, hopefully I can use these same holes at the top and the bottom. If not, I'll punch new holes in there. The predefined screw holes didn't work, so if you just press in there, they'll just pop through the foam and make their own hole basically. And just press it in there and start running it in with the screwdriver. All right, now we got these nice and snug. All right, here's a double gang wall switch. I'd highly recommend killing electricity on there just because you can close the circuit there. You'll notice it's too wide, so we're gonna have to do some serious modifications, but thanks to this wall plate, we'll have no issues. All right, so you're gonna take your wall plate, you're gonna lay it down, and you're gonna figure out where that ends roughly, which is right about there. And I would take a flathead screwdriver and just mark it on both sides down, just to place a mark, know where it's at. Okay, then you're gonna set it on the ground and you're gonna take your dull utility knife that is really good, well, it's really poor at cutting things, but it's really good at slicing your fingers open. And bonus points if bone is exposed, if you get sliced, just scorch right along that line, right along where I marked it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just needs to be good enough that it's going to be the width of the wall switch. Looks pretty good right there to me. It's not perfect, but it does the job. So now we're gonna need to do the openings. So you're gonna flip it over on this side. You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna take your flathead and scorch each side of it. I also recommend cutting it on like a solid surface, like this concrete floor in my basement that's unfinished. And let's see here. Hit all 4 corners. Make sure it's nice and solid. There we go. I'm gonna start cutting on it here. It's kind of hard to see with this contrast, but you can see I've marked it right here and here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting along this line, just kind of moving my knife up and down, back and forth, not enough to knock the pre-cut knockouts out, because that's not what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to get this free. All right, next up, you're gonna go ahead and dry fit her. Make sure she fits. Cool thing about this styrofoam stuff is it is pretty flexible, so if you kind of just nudge on it, it'll go in around the switches pretty well. Go ahead and make sure your wall plate sits snug over it, which it does. And then I'm gonna have to force screws through here. It should punch a hole through it. It'll usually require a bit of force, but you just go in there and start twisting, you usually will grab and start going in there. Use some force, you can see right there. And just slowly bring her into town here. There's that one. There we go. I don't think I cracked it, did I? No, I didn't. Just heard a little snap. It wasn't anything crazy. You do got to worry about snapping those guys because they do crack if you're not careful. But they're not very much. They're like $1, so who cares, right? Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. If you got any questions or anything you want to say, feel free to leave a comment down below. Thank you, guys. Bye.